While searching for purpose, I've learned several skills in a quarter the time it takes the average student to learn it. My teachers were often amazed. I graduated with a first class from the university while keeping several businesses, a serious relationship, being a class representative, and juggling politics. No subject is hard if the right factors are in place. Some people say accounting is the hardest subject, others say physics is the hardest. Why? No matter how difficult or annoying any subject is, you would always find that one person who is a guru in it. In this video, I'll explain 7 factors I've seen that affect learning, and you would get to understand why you struggle to learn and how you can use those factors to help speed up your learning. But first, I'll start with debunking some learning myths. The first one is some people think intelligence is fixed. You probably think I'm a smart person, that's why I can do what I do, but that's not the case. Learning is affected by internal and external factors. Yes, how smart you are plays a factor, but that's not all of it. That's just a part of it. And there are a lot that you can do to increase your chances at learning something faster and perform above average. I'll tell you how mine kicked in. I was in primary school and I was always getting poor grades. In Nigeria, we have positions put in your results, right? So I would often be last position in the class, or maybe just 2 steps away from the last position. So one of those days, my teacher came to me. I was in my final, class before I leave primary school, and he said, among these 5 people, there will be the first to the fifth position in the class, and he mentioned my name, and it was surprising because I never thought I would ever be in, such a list, top 5 people, right? I found myself praying and hoping that I will be the first position. I don't know why I believed I could do that, but at the end of the day, the results came out and I was fifth. But one thing I appreciated while waiting was when people heard that I was among the top 5, they started treating me differently. I don't know why, but people kind of respect people they feel are smart. So I enjoyed the respect, and that is what triggered my interest in studying to do better in school. So the factor that was holding me back from performing well in school was that I wasn't studying, and when I started studying, it became better. The brains were there all along. So straight up, I'll go into the 7 factors that affect learning. The first one is interest and curiosity. I think you can easily guess this one, right? You know people that are really passionate about something and you see how much time they invest in it. They learn faster. So it's first off, if you know you're not interested in what you're learning, if whatever is motivating you is not hard enough or serious enough to make you go the extra mile, you should probably quit. The second factor is the teaching method. Notice how you find a lot of students that hate a particular subject because of the teacher that was teaching the subject. I found this in a lot of scenarios, right? When someone tell me they hated this subject so much, I often ask, did you like the teacher? And they say no. So it's a factor, right? Bad teacher makes you dislike the subject. That's one factor. And how you learn, if it's not in a maybe school setting, how you learn, where you're learning from, if you enjoy the app you're learning from, if you enjoy the person making the presentation, you are more likely to understand and grab quicker. Number 3 factor is environment. Of course, how much distraction do you have around you? Are you putting enough time in it? Are you comfortable where you're learning? Or are you forced to learn in an environment you hate very much? It's definitely something. I'm sure you have guessed this. You need to try to make your environment as comfortable as possible. Anything you know that will make learning easy, having the right tools, right? Not having to struggle with bad equipment while trying to learn something. These are factors that affect how fast you learn. Number 4, prior knowledge. Of course, you get to learn faster when you are building on something you know before. It's like in career, I would call it borrowed skills. Take mathematics, for instance. You can't be taught complex arithmetic like quadratic equation, for instance, without first being taught basic arithmetic like 3x plus x. All the preliminary learnings you have to build up on before you start you know, attacking complex equations. So prior knowledge is teaching you what you need to know before you get to what you are now trying to learn, which is more complex. So you need to be sure that you have gathered all the prior knowledge you need to get before going for anything that is going to be challenging to learn. Number 5, mindset and beliefs. This one is internal. What you believe about what you're learning, it has a lot. It's like the way environment external affects you. Belief and mindset is internal. Some people have a growth mindset. Some people believe that they can learn anything. Some people don't easily get shaken. Some people don't easily give up on whatever they set their hearts to. They push through it knowing that it's going to get better after a while, especially when they have past experiences to rely on for, motivation. So they have a growth mindset. But some other persons always have every other thing outside to blame. They have a fixed mindset. They don't push. They just believe that if I don't have it, I don't have it. If I didn't understand it the first day, I probably never will. So that's a fixed mindset. So you need to have a growth mindset in order to learn quicker. I'll give you an example. Michael Jordan. Most people believe he was naturally gifted, right? He had the talent all along. But if you do your research, you will learn his story. He did not even make varsity basketball team. He lost the audition. So he went back and trained and improved himself until he later became the global success we all know. If you have the mindset that this thing is not for me, I can't do this, that's where it ends. But if you believe that if you push through, you'll get to your goal, you are more likely to at least be better than where you started from. Number 6, practice and repetition. Mastery comes from consistent effort, not talent. Even talented people don't make it that far if they do not practice enough. The Michael Jordan story I told also applies to this. He practiced, that is why he became the success he became. So you have to put in the work. You can't not study and expect to do as well as people that studied and put in the extra time to try to understand something they struggled with before. So as a student, as a career person, whatever it is you're trying to learn, you have to be ready to put in the time. And the final factor, emotional connection. When learning feels personal, it sticks. When you have an intrinsic motivation as to why you want to get this thing done, learning is easier. I will go on to tell you how you can use these factors to your advantage. Number 1, find ways to make the subject interesting. These days we hear of gamification of learning, right? People are trying to make learning interesting by turning it into games. Learning process becomes gamified and you're supposed to have as much fun learning as you do playing games. So whatever it is that would make learning easy for you, if it's really important to you, you have to put in the resources. Enjoy the process. Number 2, choose the right teachers or courses or resources to learn with. Like I mentioned in the factors, you want to like where you are learning from. If you are not intentional about where you're learning from or who you're learning from, then you're likely to struggle. Create a learning friendly environment. You have to be intentional about where you're learning. If you're studying, of course, you go to a place with proper lighting, less noise. If you're not the kind of person that study with music on, you put off the music. If you're the kind of person that music works for, you use music to study. Good music anyway. Just put stuff together and make sure it favors you, makes you as comfortable as possible. And number 4, shift your mindset. You have to convince yourself that you can get there. Of course, if the motivation is right, the reason why you're learning what you're learning is very important to you. You have to push through. You can't give up because the first day was tough. You have to convince yourself that where I'm headed is worth it and imbibe a growth mindset. Learning isn't about being smart. It's about setting yourself up for success. Do comment in the comment section below, what is the hardest subject you ever had to learn? I'd be glad to hear from you. Thank you.